The syllabus of statistics we have is Introduction to Statistics. Chapter number 3 is Liberalization, Privatization and Globalization. The data which we collect for the first time is called as primary data. The data which has already been collected, it is called as secondary data. Hello everybody, I'm Divya, lecturing Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Mysuru, the Temple of Excellence. Today, I welcome you all, our young aspiring minds of economics. So for today's session, I welcome you all. The topic that we are discussing today is regarding the introduction, the syllabus discussion, and the marks allotment. Moving forward, the economics is divided, your subject economic for first PUC is divided into two things. One is statistics, the other is Indian economic development. Statistics, the books for reference is you can use any NCERT textbook, statistics for economics and Indian economic development. So these are the textbooks that you can refer. So in order to enhance your knowledge regarding statistics as well as the subject Indian economic development, you can refer NCERT textbook, that is statistics for economics and Indian economic development. Moving forward, the syllabus of statistics we have is Introduction to Statistics. You know, economics is all about the resource allocation, resource distribution and utilizing those resources in an optimum extent. Human wants are unlimited, but the resources are limited. It is scarce in nature. So without compromising for the next future generation, we have to utilize the resources in such a manner that we are not enhancing, we are not giving anything back to the society. So keeping this point in mind regarding the sustainability development, so we need to utilize the resources properly. So for the production, consumption and distribution of the resources, we need statistics. Statistics is all about the numerical facts. The statistics is all about the numerical data. Statistics is an analysis of collecting the data, organizing the data, presenting those data and interpreting the results by using various statistical tools and techniques. So that thing we have in Unit 1, that is Introduction to Statistics. So what is statistics is all about, why in economics we have statistics to be studied, and next unit that we'll be discussing is regarding collection and organization of data. Collection simply means collecting the data. Primary data we have, will be having secondary data. Two types of data. The data which we collect for the first time is called as primary data. The data which has already been collected, it is called as secondary data. And what are the sources of data, from where and all we will get those data? That will be studied in your Unit 2, that is collection and organization of data. So once the collected data, that will be in a raw format, that is unorganized format. So that has to be organized in a systematic manner. So such organization will be studied in your third unit, that is organization of data. So organization simply means putting the data or the raw facts, raw information that is being collected, that has to be arranged in a systematic manner, that has to be organized, that has to be classified. So that you will be studying in the Unit 4, that is your Chapter 3, Organization of Data. And when it comes to the next unit, that is the presentation of data. Presentation simply means the data will be in a large number, that has to be put in a comprehensive way. Picture always attracts. So that presentation makes meaningful. That presentation gives the data meaningful information. So that is why you have to present the data in a systematic manner and a comprehensive way. So that chapter you will be studying in the fourth, that is presentation of data. So in that chapter you will be learning three different types of presentation, that is textual presentation of data, tabular presentation of data, and the pictorial presentation or diagrammatic presentation of data. Moving forward, we have the most important unit in our statistics that has been put for you people to study is measure of central tendency. Measure of central tendency simply means average. So the data will be in mass, the data will be in large quantity, that has to be studied in a single value. If the statistician has to take up the good decisions, they need single value, and that single value will be studied in your unit 5, that is called as measure of central tendency. Simply means average. So in that we have mean, median and mode. So mean, median and mode will be studied for both grouped data and ungrouped data. So those things can be seen in further classes. Next chapter we have very importantly is correlation. Once the data collected through primary sources and secondary sources, then we collect those data, we organize the data based on their characteristics, based on the time, based on geographical location, based on all the attributes, we classify those data and present in a good tabular form. After presenting in a good tabular form, we will find the average. The entire mass data will be put into one value, and that value is called as average. After that, the further statistical analysis tool we have is correlation. Correlation simply explain the relationship between two variables. So in statistics, we'll be learning more about the variables, more about the relationship between the variables. So that relationship will be studied in the chapter called correlation. So after that we have index number. When the things are changing constantly. Suppose today you go for a market and you ask the price of a tomato per kg, it will be 50 rupees. And the next day if you go, it will be 100 rupees. After few days if you go, it will be 120 rupees. The price will keep on changing. So such changes has to be measured in a single value. To measure that single value, we have a statistical tool called index number. So in that chapter, we will be discussing about the various index number, consumer price index number, wholesale price index number. All those things will be studied in your unit 7 or chapter 7. And next we have is use of statistical tools. So all the data has to be arranged in a systematic manner, and that has to be effectively put in a statistical tool. So in this we will be discussing how a project can be taken and what are the steps, what are the research methodology we can use in order to bring out the conclusion to the project, bring out the question and as well as the solution to the problem. That will be studied in your unit 8. Moving forward, we have Indian economic development. So the syllabus for Indian economic development is, you have totally 10 chapters in that. First is Indian economy on the eve of independence. So what is the history? How the economics have been derived? What is the history behind economics? That will be studied in your first unit. And the second unit is from 1950 to 1970. So during that era, what was the economic condition of our India? So that will be studied in your chapter number 2. And the chapter number 3 is liberalization, privatization and globalization. So that will be studied in your chapter number 3. And we have poverty. So under poverty, we have below poverty line and above poverty line. That bifurcation, everything when we go into the chapter, we will be discussing about the poverty. Next we have human capital formation and we have the chapter number 6 called Rural Development. So rural is a place where the Indian economics develop. So if the rural economy develops, our Indian economy develops. If the country wants to develop, we are in the developing country right now. If we want to become developed country, rural community has to develop. So what is rural development? How the community should be developed, and what are the government schemes that has been initiated in order to look after the rural people? Everything we will be studying in the unit number 6, that is your chapter 6, rural development. And next we have is employment and growth. We have infrastructure. Next, chapter number 9 is environment and sustainability development. So in the initial thing of my class itself, I have discussed, we are talking about sustainability, because without the next future generation, we cannot sustain. So if we have to do something for next generation, we have to think about the sustainability. So right now, resources we have to utilize in a better way so that the next generation can avail those resources in a better manner. So that is, we have environment and sustainability development. And the last chapter in Indian economic development we have is comparative development experiences of India and its neighbors. So that is what the last unit that we will be discussing. Moving forward, we have textbook for references. As I have told you in the previous slide itself, you can refer Statistics for Economics NCERT textbook, Indian Economic Development NCERT textbook prescribed by the Karnataka government. You can refer those textbook for the first PUC Economics. So coming to your marks allocation or the question paper pattern, we have part A, 20 marks. It will be objective types. It will be an objective types. 20 marks will be allotted for that. And next, when it comes to part B, it will be, so any 4 out of 6 questions you have to answer. So any 4 questions you have to answer for 2 marks. And again, we have any 5 out of 7. 7 questions will be given. You have to answer 5, which is again of 2. Okay, and next, when it comes to part C, it is any 3 out of 4. So here you have to answer any 3 questions out of 4 questions given, that is for 4 marks. And again, we have any 4 out of 5 questions. For 4 questions you have to answer. Again, it is 4 into 4, your 16 marks. 4 marks question, 4 you have to answer. Next, we have part D. In part D, we have any 2 out of 3 question, any 2 questions of 6 mark, and again we have any 2 out of 3. So any 2 questions out of 3, again it is of 6 marks. Next, part E we have, so this is practical oriented question. So statistics, what we are studying. The previous slide I have discussed about correlation, a measure of central tendency, measure of dispersion. So all these are what? A practical oriented paper. So in that, problems will be solved, and that problems will be asked in your part E, that is any 2 out of 3. So any 2 questions should be asked for 5 marks. So 5 mark, 2 question, 10 marks will be allotted for you people. So this is your question paper pattern. So thank you so much for watching, for joining us. I hope the session was fruitful. My introduction class was very interesting, and you got a glimpse about what is first PUC economics and statistics is all about. What is the weightage of each mark that is there? What is the pattern that you people have to follow? And what are the books that is there for references? All this has been included in this session. You can watch that, and for further more information, stay tuned, stay blessed, and keep smiling. Smile is the biggest jewel you can wear. Keep smiling. Thank you so much.